Welcome back to Old Gear Classic. Now listen to this for a second. That's not just engine noise. That is the heartbeat of America's golden age of performance. We live in a world where modern cars have computers more powerful than the ones that landed humans on the moon. Today we have electric turbochargers, 10-speed transmissions, adaptive suspension systems, and tires with unbelievable grip. Modern performance cars are engineering masterpieces. But there's one question that still haunts every classic car enthusiast. How could a machine built in the 1960s, with no computers, no sensors, and no electronic assistance, still produce such brutal performance that even modern supercars have to respect it? How could old muscle cars, made of cast iron, carburetors, and raw steel, still feel terrifyingly fast today? Because on paper, these cars should be outdated. But the moment you hear one start, everything changes. Today, we'll uncover the magic behind this ancient technology. Why can carburetors and cast iron outperform sensors and aluminum? Let's go under the hood. Many of you in the comments section of the 1970 Dodge Charger HEMI video noticed something interesting. The 425 horsepower figure listed in the brochure was wrong. Because one of the biggest secrets of the muscle car era was hidden inside the brochures themselves. The horsepower numbers were often lies. But strangely, they were lies designed to make the cars look weaker than they actually were. Back in the late 1960s, manufacturers like Chrysler, Ford, Chevrolet, Pontiac, and Buick were trapped in a full-scale horsepower war.
They've got their own car, too. Camaro by Chevrolet.
Every company wanted to build the fastest street machine in America. Bigger engines, more speed.
Mustang 2's base sticker price includes steel-belted radials, 4-speed floor shift, rack and pinion steering, and more. Wow. And Ford Mustang sticker price starts below competition, including Chevy's Monza notchback. Hey, America.
But there was one major problem. Insurance companies were beginning to panic. Young drivers were buying 400 horsepower street cars capable of running quarter-mile times close to professional race cars. Accidents increased. Insurance premiums exploded. Suddenly, owning a muscle car became incredibly expensive. So manufacturers found a clever solution. Instead of officially advertising the true horsepower numbers, they started underrating them to lower insurance premiums. The most famous example was the legendary 426 HEMI. Officially, Chrysler rated the street HEMI at 425 horsepower. But many modern engine builders and dyno experts believe the real number was much higher. Why? Because horsepower testing standards back then were very different from today. Some engines were tested without full accessories attached. Some were measured at lower RPM ranges. And many manufacturers intentionally published conservative numbers to avoid attracting insurance companies. When modern dynamometers test properly restored HEMI engines today, many produce closer to 500 or even 550 horsepower. Think about that for a second. People in the late 1960s weren't driving 425 horsepower muscle cars. They were driving hidden monsters, disguised behind conservative paperwork. And suddenly, the performance of those old drag races makes much more sense, because these cars had far more power than the public officially knew. But that secret only made muscle cars even cooler. There's a reason Old Gear Classic viewers often complain about modern cars having too much plastic, because every old school gearhead knows there is no replacement for displacement. That sentence perfectly explains the philosophy behind the muscle car era. Modern engines focus on efficiency by building a small turbocharged engines, use advanced computers, direct injection, variable valve timing, and high RPM to produce impressive performance from small displacement. But classic muscle cars used a completely different way. Instead of making small engines more efficient, they simply made engines enormous. Huge cylinders, huge pistons, huge airflow, and massive explosions. And the result was something modern cars sometimes struggle to replicate: instant torque. Horsepower looks impressive in advertisements, but torque is what your body actually feels. Torque is what slams you into the seat when the light turns green. And that's why old muscle cars felt so violent. A classic big block engine didn't need to rev to 8,000 RPM to feel powerful. The torque arrived almost immediately. The moment you touch the gas pedal, the entire car jerks forward. Modern turbocharged engines often build power smoothly and intelligently, but classic V8s delivered power like a hammer. And there was another major advantage: simplicity. No electronic throttle mapping, no traction control, no torque management software, no stability systems cutting engine power. Your right foot controlled everything directly. When you pressed the accelerator, the carburetor opened. Fuel and air rushed into massive combustion chambers, and explosions happened. That direct mechanical connection created an emotional experience many modern cars can't fully reproduce. And don't forget about durability. As we saw in the video of the Ford V8 being revived after 40 years with basic repairs, cast iron engine blocks are designed to last. No complicated sensors, no fragile electronics, no plastic components melting from heat. Just iron, fuel, air, and fire. Primitive? Maybe, but sometimes primitive also means unstoppable. Now let's talk about one of the biggest enemies of speed: weight. In the Shelby Cobra video, we see how Carroll Shelby took a lightweight British sports car chassis and installed a massive American V8 inside it.
You might even call it a dream. It was to build a sport car that, first of all, more people could own and enjoy driving, and second, they could race under American colors and maybe pride the old established names a little bit. Having practically no capital, I started off, but it was a coincidence really that got us going. First, the AC car company in England badly needed a new engine. They produced a good basic chassis and body, but had no engine source. On the other hand, Ford Motor Company over here was just in the development stage of a promising new high-performance engine. Well, after a lot of talking, I got a hold of some bodies from the AC people, and Ford agreed to help me build a new sport car I call the Cobra.
Because horsepower means nothing if the car is carrying unnecessary mass. And this is where old performance cars become extremely interesting. Modern cars are heavy. Today's vehicles contain massive safety structures, airbags, electric motors, sound insulation, and advanced driver assistance systems. Many modern performance cars weigh over 4,000 pounds. Some weigh almost as much as luxury SUVs. But muscle cars from the 1960s were surprisingly simple. And simplicity meant less weight. No giant touchscreens, no electronic seat motors, no radar systems, no complicated hybrid systems, no hundreds of pounds of sound-deadening material, just engine, steering wheel, and driver. And no car demonstrates this philosophy better than the legendary Shelby Cobra. The Shelby Cobra became one of the most terrifying cars of its time because it combined huge horsepower with very little weight. And muscle cars followed a similar idea. They prioritized raw acceleration above everything else. And because these cars were mechanically simple, more power reached the wheels directly without unnecessary systems interfering. Modern performance cars often use computers to manage performance safely. Classic muscle cars simply unleashed the engine and trusted the driver to survive. If the rear tires lost traction, the car didn't save you. It tried to throw you into a wall. And strangely, that danger became part of the excitement. Drivers had to respect the machine. Every burnout required skill. The experience felt raw, unpredictable, and alive. And maybe that's exactly why people still love these machines today. But now we need to talk about the downside. Because classic muscle cars were not perfect. In fact, some of them were genuinely terrifying to drive. Straight line speed was easy, but turning and stopping were much harder. Many muscle cars still used drum brakes that overheated quickly during aggressive driving. Their suspension systems were primitive compared to modern engineering, and their tires had far less grip than modern performance tires. That created a dangerous combination: huge horsepower, massive torque, and limited traction, and almost no electronic safety systems. Modern sports cars constantly monitor the driver and the road. If you lose control today, computers react instantly. ABS prevents wheel lock. Traction control reduces wheel spin. Modern performance cars are incredibly intelligent. But 1960s muscle cars were brutally honest. If you entered a corner too fast, you suffered the consequences. If you pressed the throttle too aggressively, the rear tires exploded into smoke. If you panicked during braking, there was no computer coming to save you. And that's why these cars demanded real skill from drivers. Not because old drivers were superheroes, but because the machines themselves were unforgiving. So, were 1960s muscle cars technologically primitive? Technically, maybe yes. But in spirit and craftsmanship, these classic muscle cars offered something modern technology still struggles to create: character. Now I want to hear your opinion. Would you choose the raw, unpredictable brutality of a 1960s muscle car, or the precision and intelligence of a modern performance cars? Do you prefer pure mechanical power and driver skill, or modern speed with electronic control? Rate your answer in the comments below. To support this channel, you can join membership on Old Gear Classic. Thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you on the road.